Joe and I are downstairs in the basement and I need to get some bones. We're gonna make some bone broth, beef bone broth today. So we're looking for some bones in here. Oh, 4 pounds, how does it feel like 4 pounds? To the right.
Yeah, that's 4 pounds anyway.
What you have right now or with this?
Well, I'm thinking what we got here is should be about 4 pounds.
We're gonna grab some onions. And probably a couple of garlic. The bones are just finishing in the oven. The timer just went off. I've had them in there for an hour. So while they're just they're still splattering a little bit. So I've got here a few things that I'm going to put into the broth with the bones. So let me show you that. I've got some celery, some carrots, and a few spices. And I'll show you what they are as I put them in. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put everything in here. I do have about, well, you can't really see, about 15 cups of water in there. I'm not sure what the water to bone ratio is, but I just kind of guesstimated. I am going to put, that's 2 carrots. I split it in half and what I had left for celery. So there was, I don't know, 2 or 3 stalks. A couple bay leaves. And I'm going to add a little bit, I've got garlic in with the bones, garlic and onion, but I'm gonna add some garlic powder in with this anyway. It's what's left. There's a little bit left here. And I'm also going to add some onion powder. I like to season my broth when I'm cooking it. I don't know, just something I like to do. I have not made beef broth before, but I have made chicken and turkey broth. So here's a few peppercorns, just maybe a teaspoon. And most important ingredient is your apple cider vinegar. Just gonna put a little bit in there. This is what's gonna pull all that marrow and good stuff from the bones. And that's what you want. Okay, so now this ingredient is cumin. Cumin is so good for you, and I have never heard tell of any recipe call for cumin in it, but I like throwing it in the stuff, so I'm throwing it in this broth. So let's go get the bones. Just look at those. They're still simmering away. I'm just gonna kind of make sure that they're all loosened from the tray. About halfway through cooking, I did turn them a bit just to brown them as much as you can. All right, I think everything's pretty much loosened, so we're gonna get these into our pot. So really quick, I thought I'd come back on here and I couldn't remember if I told you the temperature that I cooked the bones at. I cooked them at 450 for an hour, 450 degrees for an hour. Now, you'll notice that I didn't cook them in the cook stove because I needed them, baked at 450 degrees. I wasn't going to get that consistently that high in our cook stove. Right now, our cook stove is on about 250. So I'd have to really get the wood going, and it would take an awful lot of wood to get it going at that temperature. So I chose to do our conventional oven. And I had a casserole in the cook stove as well. So there really wouldn't have been a whole lot of room for that. I'm just going to lift these with some tongs and place them in here. I wish I had more meaty bones, but I don't. But look at all of that marrow in those bones. You see all of that? That is going to make for, look at that, a really great bone broth. Okay, I've got our garlic, which I'm going to kind of open that up a little bit. And then I'm just going to pour the rest of these juices, everything, the fat, everything, because it's all going to flavor this. Okay, we'll get the fat off of it later, but I do want the flavor. So all of that goodness goes in there. Then we're going to cover this. And we're going to turn it on to, I'm going to do 225. Maybe 250. We'll go up to 250. We have to go uptown for an appointment, so I don't want to put it on too high, but I do want to get the water heated and start to simmer a bit. Now it's going to stay that way for, I'm going to check it to make sure the water is simmering really well, but I'm going to leave it for 24 hours or more. The longer you leave it, the better it is, and I want it really good. So I'm gonna leave it. We'll just keep checking it, and I'll bring you along with me as I check it, and I wish I could bring you along with the smells of it, but you're gonna have to try this one on your own. Like I said, I have never made beef broth, but these are some bones from our cows, sadly. We miss our cows, but it's a cycle of life. It was tough, I'm not gonna lie. It was tougher than I ever thought it would be to see them go. It was very, very hard week for us. But we're going to get some good, healthy bone broth out of this. So like I said, I'll take you along as I check it, and then we'll jar up the final result.
It's been a few hours. Look how good it looks. But we're going to give it a little bit more time.
Good morning, everyone. It's Wednesday. We started the beef broth on Monday at 2:30. So it's been almost 2 full days. I will show you what it looks like. I've got it, let's see. You see that? We're gonna get that stirred around. It's cooked down quite a bit from what it was. I don't know, can't really tell on the side. Probably it's gone down probably about 1 inch, I'm gonna say. But look how good that looks. So right now what I'm going to do is strain all of this out, and then we're going to set the broth aside so that the fat will come to the surface, and then I'm going to skim that off. I'm using one of these little, I don't know, I think they call it a spider. Using that, and I'm putting it into this bowl, but I'm also using this because what I don't completely clean out for juices using the spider, I'll get it the second time around, I'm hoping. That way I can collect any juice at the bottom and pour it back over into the broth. All right, this is what I have. I'm getting the reflection of my light over the island here. Sorry. It still has a few little bits and bobs in there, but that's okay. I don't mind. I'm going to I can see the layer of fat on here. I'm going to put this in our entryway. That's the coldest room that I can think of. Outside, I don't want to put it outside. It's way too cold to be outside. Our outdoor temperatures are, when you got up this morning, what did you find that they were? Negative something.
16 below.
16 below. Right now, it's 10:45 in the morning. So let me check okay, negative 13. So yeah, it's still really cold outside. I think our temperatures have gone down quite a bit, actually. Wind chills have been in the 30 below range. So it's been cold here. Chickens are not out today. They usually go out and they run, but they're not out today. I just want to show you my partner in crime is over here. He is doing apples. He's just peeling some apples and chopping them up so we can put them in the freezer. Use for whatever. Breads, pies, crumbles, cobblers. So while the broth is out there cooling, I don't know how long it's gonna take. It's gonna take a bit. I'm gonna need to do something with those bones. And Joe is suggesting putting them back in and doing a little bit more broth. So I may do that because there's still a lot of good marrow and stuff in there. I mean, I think that the bones could go another round. Even if it's a weak broth, it's still a broth. The beef broth has been sitting, and you can see that the fat has come to the top. So I'm going to work at skimming this off. The fat to this is not going to go to waste because I'm going to put it into the freezer and save it for our chickens. They love this, and it's perfect for them in the wintertime, especially because it keeps them warm. So we use every bit of it. The fat, the bones, all of that stuff. Nothing goes to waste. You wanna use up everything you have for every purpose that you can find for it that will work for you and your family. I think that's what I love about the way things used to be. And I know I've said this time and time again. No, it's just the way things used to be. And, it worked. It's maybe not trendy today, or not the thing today, or, there's faster ways to do it. That's all well and fine. And if it fits, for your family, great. Keep going. Whatever works for your family. This works for ours, and I love doing this. I love knowing that we're eating extremely healthy. We're using up everything, and in the words of my mom, which I've also shared time and time again, waste not, want not. I think I've gotten everything. So let's pour this over into a Dutch oven and get it heated back up so that we can put it into jars. Let's see if we can do this without spilling it everywhere. We still have a few little floating pieces of fat on there, you can see, but I'm okay with that. Just going to give it a little more flavor. I am going to turn the heat on to medium-high, and we'll get this to a boil and jar it up, and then we'll can it. I have my pressure canner right there, all set and ready to go. So I'm gonna get the jars ready right now, and by the time this boils, we'll have some jars all set and ready to go. These are silicone. I'm gonna put the fat from the bone broth in here, and I like to use this only because you can push things out of it. It's easy to manipulate, so I'm gonna fill these and throw them into the freezer. The chickens are gonna love this. It's gonna be a great little snack for them, and actually you can take seeds or little things and put in with this if you care to. I don't have any seeds here inside the house to put in here, so I'm just going to use the fat. That'll freeze before too long, and I can just pull them out and use them, hang them in the chicken pen, and they love treats like this. Okay, this has been boiling for about a minute. I like to boil it, bring it to a boil for about a minute before I shut the heat off and get my jars out and start filling them. I'm not sure how many jars I'm going to get out of this. These are quart-sized jars. I just want to get as many as I can. I did put the bones in again with a little bit more water, maybe, I don't know, maybe a gallon of water, I'm guessing. 1 gallon, 1.5 maybe. I didn't put very much, not as much as I did with these ones. But I thought I'd try to get a little bit more out of the bones if I could. Look how good and dark this is. This looks like it's going to be some really good broth. And like I said, I have never done beef broth. I've always done chicken, turkey. I've not even done vegetable broth before. That is probably next on my list of broths to do. Grab my rag, wipe this off really good, and put a lid on it. My canner is on the cook stove, my pressure canner. So for right now, I'm gonna set these on this cloth until I get this area cleaned up enough to bring my pressure canner over. This is gonna be so good in so many things. Pot roast, stews, soups, whipped potatoes, because sometimes I use broth to whip my potatoes, depending on what I'm having. It works so good. And that is actually a tip from my husband's cousin, who is a chef. Use broth to whip your potatoes. It's good to cook rice. Quinoa is really good this way. Farro. There's all kinds of different things you can do with your own broth. And I don't know if you've ever priced this stuff at the store, but the really good quality kind at the store, yeah, it's a lot of money. And it literally did not cost a lot for me to make this on my own. It's pennies compared to what it costs at the store. And why wouldn't you want to make it yourself? Because you know what's going into it. I like that. This is straight from our beef as well. The steer that we helped our son raise. We know what we fed it. We raised them and loved them, and so using this, you know, we've it's right from the beginning. You know, using the bones to make this. I love that. That's what I like about simple living. It's just that. Simple. Simple. Basic. No fancy anythings. Although our kids think that our outhouse is fancy. That is good and hot. You just want these finger tight. You don't want to tighten them too much. This made 3 quarts and 1 pint. I am going to process them as quarts though for 25 minutes at 10 pounds of pressure. Even though I have a pint in there, it's okay. A little bit more is not going to hurt that, and I need to do the others at 25, so that one goes at 25 as well. There is 3 quarts of water in here. This is a 23 quart Presto pressure canner. So let's get the cover on and we'll get that going. Okay, we've reached 10 pounds of pressure, so I'm going to set the timer for 25 minutes. I've got company, and maintain it. Three quarts and 1 pint. Our grandkids, 2 of them, are watching a movie in the other room, so I just came in the dining room really quick. I'm looking at myself in the camera, and boy, do I look good. So it's been a busy day, and the broth is done. I'm so excited because I've never made beef broth, so this is going to be really great. I can't wait to use it. And you know, I have to tell you, this has been, for this month, hang on just a second. Close the door really quick. This month and next month, we're doing the pantry challenge. I'll be right there, just a second. So this month and next month, we're doing the pantry challenge. And I told Joe, I said, I feel like I have canned just as much in the past 2 weeks as we have in the whole month of like October. I said, we're supposed to be pulling from our pantry and eating, and as much as we're pulling from our pantry, I feel like we're putting away just as much. We have canned so much, so I think I could probably call this, you know, there's another challenge going around. It's called Canuary. I feel like I've kind of joined Canuary with, you know, unintentionally, because we've canned so much, but I love filling our food stores. Whenever we have it, whenever we're able to do that, I love to do that, because we're feeding our family things that we know are going to be good. They're not full of preservatives. They're not full of all those fillers that you have no idea what they are, with those really big words that you cannot pronounce. So I love having all of that natural stuff in our larder, in our pantry, in our freezer, in our refrigerator, in our root cellar. I love having all of that there for our family to enjoy, because it's not just my husband and I that enjoy all of this stuff. Our kids also will come over and borrow a jar of this or a jar of that, or for a birthday, or, you know, for some holiday or something. The kids are always pulling from it, or we're giving it away. So lots of stuff going on. It's the end of today, Thursday. Got another video coming out showing all of our meals for this week. Don't miss that. That comes out on Sunday. And keep watching. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe. I create 2 new videos every week on simple living, homestead grown, and all things home. So until next time.